this program has not just helped me be a healthy leader within my role in my job, it hasn't just affected me in my workplace or in my personal life, but it's impacted the people in all areas of my life. And one of the biggest wins that I've had in my first year of managing is hiring some pretty amazing and dope people to be on my team. But to hear them say that they plan on working here for a while because this is the healthiest organization that they've ever been in, knowing you knowing
I know.
that it still has a lot to grow
Oh,
uh,
yeah.
into being that healthy organization. It's a great place, and,
100.
and it's got a lot of potential, and we're working towards that, but we're not quite there yet. And so for someone to tell me, someone that I'm leading to tell me this is the healthiest place I've ever worked in, it's just like, okay, like I'm done here.
I'm
Thank you.
done.
Hey there, friend. Welcome back to the channel. And if you're new around here, well, my name is Mac and I'm a leadership coach, but I actually work specifically with first-time team managers and helping them to become effective leaders. And today what we're doing is spotlighting another one of the accelerator students and all their success. I know that you guys love these. You reach out and you're like, oh, this story is like so inspiring. And so I'm so glad to be able to bring them to you and share the success that the accelerator students are having. Now, before we jump into this interview, I want to give you like a really quick update. So I don't know if you remember this, but a couple of months ago, I interviewed Natalie, right, which I'll link for you here and in the description box below, a couple of months ago, who was also one of my accelerator students. And at the end of that video, I actually said to her, Natalie, I see you going into senior leadership very soon. And guess what happened? She did. Just this year, I talked to her earlier on this year, and guess what? She got promoted just like I thought she would. So I wanted to give you all that update. All right, so let's talk about who we are spotlighting today. So today, we're interviewing Juliet. So Juliet, just like you, is a first-time manager. And for her, when she first jumped into the role, she wasn't sure that she was going to be successful at it because of the fact that she viewed herself as very relational. She thought that that would mean that perhaps people would take advantage of her or it wouldn't be seen as something that was truly valuable. And so she really was at a, kind of at an impasse in terms of whether or not management would be for her. And so I want to take you through this interview with her, particularly if you're somebody that's thinking the same. I think that this might be really helpful for you. So grab a drink and join me on this conversation with Miss Juliet.
All right. Thank you so much, Juliet, for joining us on the channel today. I am super excited to have this conversation with you. I know it's going to be an awesome one because every Wednesday in our sessions, you have some of the most insightful things to say. So I know peeps, you guys are going to get some really nice insight bombs on this conversation today because Juliet always brings it and then some when we have our conversation. So I'm really looking forward to this. Thank you so much for being here.
Same here. Same here.
So Juliet, let's jump into it. Can you tell us, my dear, a little bit about, let's say, the beginnings as a manager for yourself and kind of what some of the struggles were for you that you had, that you dealt with when you first jumped into the role as a manager?
Yeah. Well, obviously I was a new manager.
Yeah.
So it was a little intimidating coming in to a whole different career, as well as like just a different world of nonprofit, of foster care, of all those things. And I've always been good at every job that I've done and worked as a manager and kind of always functioned above my role. And so I did find a great opportunity in going for the role I currently am in, but it was definitely intimidating coming in and having a team of experts that I had to manage. And so if it wasn't for even just our initial conversation, and even just seeing like hey, like what this might be the type of manager that you are, and I fit that, like I'm like newbie. Just like being able to even like have an understanding that I am qualified to do this. There are characteristics in me that the people who hired me were like, yeah, this is the person we want to be in this role. But at the same time, understanding like I'm still going to have to grow into this, which means that I do have to rely and depend on the team that I'll be leading, and also encouraging them and like their expertise and being like, hey, like I know I'm not an expert, but I'm here to grow with you and also be fresh eyes. And so it really helped because I was nervous that I just wasn't able to do the job. I didn't know the ins and outs of everything. But knowing that I didn't that I could give myself that margin and that permission to not know, but to learn, was I think what was able to get me to where I am today, amongst a bunch of other things. Um, but yeah, that's kind of how it first started, and I really don't know what I would have done had I not given myself that permission.
Mm-hmm.
In all reality, I think I would have just
You
called it,
know,
you
yeah,
know.
for sure.
But yeah.
Can you talk a little bit, because you just said something that I think a lot of people will resonate with, was this aspect of feeling intimidated by the role itself. What component of the role made you feel like you weren't able to do it? Like, what was it about a management position that you felt that made you feel this way, I guess, is the question I wanted to ask.
I think honestly the lack of relationship that I had with the team. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
because like when I look back on all the other places I've worked at and my capacity and my ability to function as a leader in those roles, and function a little bit above my expectations, I realized one, there wasn't that like expectation for me to be functioning in those things. So my bar was low. But at the same time, I had relationship with everybody down here, and relationship with the people above that allowed me to start having that trust to lead, and like trust with my team and them trusting me and coming to me for questions and answers, and then me being able to trust myself to know what I know and know that I can lead others in it. And so for me, coming into a whole new world of just different career was like, I don't have that relationship with these people. I don't have that trust with these people.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if I can trust myself with the knowledge that I'm supposed to be receiving and being able to help build the others, in it. And so I I think all of us think a manager should be someone who is capable of doing the minimum, right, of the organization's job expectations, but also be able to lead and exceed those things, and be strategic and come up with ideas and make things better. But they have some level of knowledge, and I just felt like I was lacking that part, and so it made it a little bit difficult because then I just felt like I was bringing myself, and I was like, it was cool, and I got along with people, but at the same time it was kind of like, there's a job that I'm expected to do, and I don't know if I'm doing it. And so I think it's knowledge more than anything in that.
That's really, really interesting. I mean, it makes perfect sense. I just don't think I realized that about you before. I know one of the things that we talked about in our initial call was around relationships. Like I remember you saying, I'm very relational and I'm afraid that it's going to trip me up in this position.
Mm.
You remember saying that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
a fear of yours. But it's actually turned out to be one of your strengths, hun.
Yeah.
It really turned out to be one of your strengths. The exact same thing that you felt like was gonna not bring you down, but the exact same thing that you felt like, oh, like I don't know if this is that great to have. I'm worried about this, is the exact same thing I think that makes you very, very successful in what you do.
And
So
you did call that out though.
did
You
I
called that.
remember?
You did. Because I was like, I was going over my strengths and like the strengths finder stuff, and I was like, my two top ones are strategic. And then the other ones that I have were all relational. And so I also felt like even the way that I develop relationship with people in my previous jobs, it's like I really try to develop a relationship with the person,
Right.
not so much just what they do and how it impacts my job, you know. And so you kind of called that out, and you're like, well, like this is how you build trust. This is how you build a connection with people, and that is going to help you manage people accordingly and to do it well. Is And so you kind of just invited me to embrace it and like use it more of a of an advantage on my end. So
Yeah,
yeah.
it
No,
was.
you called it out. Called it out.
I think it's just interesting. And the reason why I, called it out today is because oftentimes it's the things that we don't think are so special about us that are the exact same things that help, propel us forward. And that's so interesting.
Yeah.
We take for granted the things that come so easy to us that probably be really difficult for other people, or because it comes so easily to us. And
Yeah.
yeah, I think you're doing such a great job. I'm always so proud of you.
It
I
means
can't
a
help
lot
myself.
when you say it, honestly.
Pardon?
I said it means a lot when you say it.
Oh, I mean it. I really, really mean it. I do. So I know you didn't mention it thus far, but one of the things, or one of the challenges I know you also dealt with, was having to coach up an underperforming team member, right? Which I know a lot of people have, a lot of our listeners, people watching, are dealing with the same thing. Can you talk about what that situation was like for you and kind of how it turned out?
Yeah. I definitely that was the part where I realized like, oh, I'm the manager and like I have to have these conversations with people.
Right.
But I have to do it in a way that allows me, because I'm like really like once I'm done, I'm done, you know, and that's it. Like I'm not even gonna put up with it. Like you've already proven to me that you don't want to be here, then I can help you make that decision, right? And so to be able to have even just the tools of like how you follow through with conversation and really like care, coach, and develop a person, is you have to have certain conversations leading up to it. And so I definitely felt like I jumped a bunch um, of different conversations, even though I felt like I had a lot of the first initial conversations. What helped me is kind of just being in that setting, confronting the situation and like what I was seeing on my end, and seeing if I could confirm that that was true or not, and then hearing them out and hearing them kind of express like, yeah, like this is where I'm frustrated, and then recognizing that it needed a different follow-up conversation. I think that that's what allowed us to get to a point where it was like there was a lot more clarity, both for what was going to happen moving forward, as well as what the relationship dynamic was between me and that person. One of the things that was really encouraging was seeing that person bring out like, this is why I really feel this way. And it's more of, they were not only discouraged because they felt like they were alone in their role, but they had a lot going on at home. And like one of the things that we say is like, hey, we want you to bring your full self. And that's a lot to ask of a person. And it also comes with a lot. And so recognizing that they were going through a lot of different things helped us, or helped me kind of develop a game plan of like, all right, well, let's find ways to like get you some covering over your life, as well as get you the kind of framework that you need to get through the day and get the job done. Because at the end of the day, there is a job to be
done,
and you are the one to do it. And so, we are working on a bunch of different things, but at the same time, let's keep it simple, do what you have to do, and also take your breaks. Now that I have a bigger team, I'm able to have those conversations a lot sooner and not see it start reflecting on their work, but rather just see the signs that are being thrown up. And so, yeah, that person helped me grow a lot in that, as well as being able to come to you, go to my direct supervisor, and like filter out the things and like my thought process and what I was thinking and how I was thinking, how I was seeing things, to make sure that they aligned with, having integrity with this authority and responsibility, and also having factual steps to move forward, whether that meant, okay, let's plan on phasing you out, or let's plan on getting you back on top. Yeah. And so, yeah.
It's hard. Yeah. That you said that I think is really true, that I want to double click on, is that it taught you a lot. You learned and you grew from it a lot. And I think that's because it was so uncomfortable. Like, you have to do it, but there's discomfort in that.
For sure.
Because of the power dynamic. And so it stretches you. Because now I feel like, even though for, let's say, the next time, right, there's someone that's perhaps underperforming on your team, you're going to know you're going to jump right into it. Will it still be a tad bit uncomfortable? Yeah. But you've learned so much from that situation. Yeah. Now you know exactly like how to go into it and also deal with the discomfort at the same time.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, so really, really, I feel like oftentimes we want to skip those things. We're like, man, like, why does this person have to act like this? Or just, why can't they do their work? But it's like, sometimes it kind of feels like a gift because of the learning we get. I know that sounds weird, but if everything's too perfect all the time, pardon?
It at the end of the day, that is how it is, I mean, that's how you should take it.
Right.
You have the ability to not take it that way and not learn anything and be a toxic leader, and just fire someone off the bat. But
there's those people, or the people that don't take ownership for underperformance. They drive me insane. Yeah. Anyways, no, I love talking about this stuff because I do really see it as a gift. If you, like you said, if you take the learning from it, if you take the lesson from it and use it, in the future, maybe even for, like you said, signs. Maybe it won't get to that point the next time because now you know what the signs are and you can address it a lot sooner, provide that clarity a lot sooner, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So good. Well, one of the things as well, just moving topics here, one of the things I love about you, Juliet, is that almost every session, y'all, she comes to the session, she's like, I love these tools. These tools are great from the program. Would you be willing to share, like, let's say what your favorite tool is from the accelerator program and why that's your favorite tool?
Yeah. I honestly feel like everything's just like a cheat code to managing very well. But I think honestly, I'm having a hard time choosing, but the one that I would have to go to because I use it so much is the one-on-one dashboard. That has brought so much accountability to the people that I lead, as well as the people that I report to. And it's also been such an encouraging tool to use with my team because they understand the value of it. And like, it's helped me be the manager I've always wanted, that person that like tells you like, hey, this is how you get to the next level. This is how, and I'm not saying that I never had those managers, but I never had clear steps on how, it was always very encouraging and like things like that. And so to be able to give them tools for them to use, and for them to feel confident in presenting it to get a better job opportunity within the organization, or even just to grow in different areas of their personal lives. Using that tool has probably been one of the best things that has happened to our team. And to know that like it's now going to be implemented on every team, with every person at our organization is like, it's funny because to them, it's like we have to fill something else out. And I'm like, you don't have to feel like you as a manager don't have to do much, dude. Like, you just have to do your job, first of all. Like that's the easiest way I could put it is at the end of the day, you're coaching and you're caring and you're developing your team in a way that is really going to benefit you just as much as it's going to benefit them. And so it's probably my favorite thing, and I'm really glad we're going to have it across the entire organization. So
yeah. I know this isn't about me, but I would say that's probably my favorite tool as well, because it really encompasses the role of the manager, right? The role of the manager is to ensure you're providing clarity and accountability. And those are the two things that you said, right? When you start talking about the tool, you're like, it allows for clarity and it allows for accountability. I'm like, yes, that's it. That was the objective of the reason why I created that, is to make sure that you're clear, they're clear, there's transparency between the two. And then there's accountability around like what we say we're doing, whatever the goals are, whatever the outcomes are that we're saying we're trying to achieve. And then accountability and clarity for growth too, right?
And even just the fact of like going through the things that you listed out in your previous one-on-one and seeing the things that you actually completed and things like that, like that you like, oh, I actually followed through on that. I know I've experienced it for myself. I know my team members have experienced it as well, of like, hey, yeah, like that's actually something to celebrate. And so, yeah, I love that tool. I love that.
Awesome. It builds confidence, right? I think what you're talking about is that it essentially builds confidence, not just for you, but definitely for them, right? Because they get to see this track record of their growth and their development, which is really cool. It's like a mini diary, isn't it, for them?
Yeah.
It feels like that, like a work diary.
Dear diary.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay, so another question I want to ask you, because sometimes I get on calls for managers, like a lot of people obviously watch my YouTube channel, which is where they're watching this video right now, and they're hooked. They're kind of hooked on the channel. I'm not going to lie. And they're always like, they get on the calls with me to take that next step to get into the accelerator program. And they're like, Mac, I feel like I'm learning so much already from your free content on YouTube. Like, what possibly can I get from the accelerator program? And I'm always like, my goodness, it's so different from my free 5-10 minute videos. And like, obviously I explain it, but I like to hear from the student's perspective what you think the difference is between like a free 10-minute YouTube video that I do in comparison to the accelerator program.
I don't know. I think it's like, I literally was talking to Callie about this the other day, and there's something about having proximity to someone that is capable of mentoring you and coaching you and helping you grow that you can't get from lack of connection. And so for me personally, like, because I'm such a relational person, this has helped. But at the end of the day, I can always Google something. There's a reason why people are still in their own jobs and the internet hasn't completely taken over. And it's because as human beings, like, we have to connect with a person that is able to see us and help us see the areas that we do really need growth in. And I think that for like just even being in the calls and seeing other managers from across the world, that which blew my mind, because I was like, oh, it's just in the States, like, no, these are managers across the world that are going through different growth areas that, I at first I was like, I don't struggle with that, or I don't deal with that. And the next I know, I'm dealing with that the next week. And I'm like, okay, like, so to have a team of people who are also growing, but also to be able to like come to you and ask you questions and get you to answer some of the questions that I would not want to ask my supervisor or the CEO or anything like that. And to be able to not just ask the question and get an answer, but get so much clarity out of that answer that I don't think any of your videos could really give me that, And so proximity is a really big thing for me right now. And I really do look forward to the day that I meet you in person. I think that's going to be super dope. But to even just be able to like have you on the other side of the screen and be able to still connect was mind blowing to me, because I was like, wait, what? Like I talk about Mac so much to so many people in my life that they're like, who is this girl? Where is she? And I'm like, well, she's in Florida, so she's kind of far. I don't know. I don't know if I'll meet her anytime soon, but she's great.
So
So yeah, honestly, if someone is thinking and kind of hesitant, I'm the type of person that I feel like I know everything and I don't really need help. And even when I get my question answered, and not just from you, but like from anyone, I'm like, I knew that. But it's like, okay, well, if you knew that, why didn't you act on it? Or why didn't you follow through with it? Is at the end of the day, we can know a lot of things. We can try to gain a lot of knowledge, but there's something that a mentor, a coach can give you that your knowledge just won't give it to you, and even just having that support is really crucial to your own growth. And so I know I can speak for a lot of the people that are on our calls on Wednesdays and say, like, if it wasn't for my conversations with Mac, if it wasn't for the sessions that I had with Mac, I don't think I'd be leading in a healthy way. And I don't think I'd be leading in the best way. So.
Ooh, I like that. Healthy. I love that. Would you say that would be the greatest, the biggest, I should say, takeaway that you've had from being in this program is being able
100%. 100%. It's kind of one of this program has not just helped me be a healthy leader within my role in my job. It hasn't just affected me in my workplace or in my personal life, but it's impacted the people in all areas of my life. And one of the biggest wins that I've had in my first year of managing is hiring some pretty amazing and dope people to be on my team. But to hear them say that they plan on working here for a while because this is the healthiest organization that they've ever been in, knowing you knowing that it still has a lot to grow into being that healthy organization. It's a great place and it's got a lot of potential, and we're working towards that, but we're not quite there yet. And so for someone to tell me, someone that I'm leading to tell me this is the healthiest place I've ever worked in, it's just like, okay, like I'm done here.
I'm done. You feel though, like to have someone tell you that, because I know you said the organization, like they might have said like it's the healthiest, company I've ever worked for. But we talked about this the other day, that people's viewpoint on an organization is actually based on what they see through their manager, right?
Yeah.
The person that affects you the most is your manager. So when somebody says like this is a healthy place, they're talking about you. They're talking about the work environment that you have created on your team. So how does that make you feel? Like, yeah, how does that
honestly, like I said, like I literally feel like, okay, my job here is done. Obviously it's not, but it makes me feel successful. Like I hit the mark. and that what I had to do, I did it, and obviously there's definitely more growth for that team member as well. But like, just to know that my team feels safe and that
Mm-hmm.
I'm the one to spearhead that, it I mean, I'm at this point, I'm like, okay, what else can I do for
Right?
not just my team, but for the organization? Like, I'm having success here and I know how to do this and I'm doing it well. How can I help you figure that out for the rest of the other teams that are in our organization, And so it makes me feel great. It makes me feel confident. It makes me feel wise. It makes me feel, honored. And I wouldn't trade that safety for anything else.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah.
Oh, so good. And these are the reasons why I'm proud of you. When you talk about stuff like this, I get chills. It's a good thing I'm wearing a sweater today because I'm all like boosted. It's I'm wearing a sweater. Okay, so last question, and then I'll let you go. There's plenty of managers, as you know, that are going to be watching this video that are going to be super inspired by your story. I mean, you've had some incredible wins. Those things that you just listed, my God, I think that's something that all of them are definitely, want to get to as well, feel successful, know that they've created this healthy work environment. And so what would you say now that helped you accomplish those things that maybe you didn't know then that you would want to pass on to them as a piece of knowledge?
Yeah. Um, I think I think one thing that I've learned is that we all have a level of influence. But how you use that influence and how you posture yourself with it will really determine your impact. And so I think uh, having this program and having all the sessions and having all the tools, it helped shape that part in me, and helped me kind of stand on my own 2 feet. And so, as a new manager, as a current manager who is trying to start over, my biggest encouragement is there's an influence that you have, um, and it definitely will make an impact. And it could be a negative impact or a positive impact. That really does get determined by you. And I don't know, man. I think we can try to find so many there's so many resources out there that can try to help you be the best leader that you are. But I don't want to, I know we kind of talked about this earlier in the last question, but if you're here and you're watching this, Mac is probably going to be the best resource that you can go to, because it's working. It's working not just for me, it's working for so many other managers, because it's not just about the resources that you can find for yourself, but it's about the people who can help shape you as well. And so even in the moments where I did not have a direct supervisor, I had Mac, and so if those are things that you're lacking, or you don't have leadership or anything like that, you need that above resources. You need someone who can help lead you, and so Mac definitely does a great job at that. So,
Aww.
for real.
That was really great. Thank you so much for being here and for being such a valuable, like I said, resource to everyone watching, because I know they're gonna just love your story. And didn't I tell y'all that she was gonna drop some insightful bombs on you? Because she did. I mean, I'm gonna go back, watch this, and take some notes, because there's some things you said there. I was like, ooh, I like that. I like the way it's said. I like the way it comes out. So good. Thank you very much, Juliet, for being here. I appreciate you.
Y'all, aren't these managers just so stinking amazing? Like, so amazing. Juliet, girl, if you are watching this, I just want to tell you I am so proud. You already know I'm a huge fan of yours and that I am so proud of all your success and all your accomplishments that you've had over the last couple of months. You are truly a rock star. And to the rest of you, if you are ready to level up in your career as a manager, know that you can reach out to me, that you can definitely book a call to learn more about the Accelerator program and how this program is helping so many, literally all over the globe, to become more effective at being a manager. And so if that sounds like a result that you want to achieve this year, definitely reach out to me using the link in the description box below. Thank you so much for joining in on this conversation. I hope you found it valuable. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and to subscribe if you haven't already. All right, my friend, great to be with you here today, and I will see you in the next one.